Hello, this is Wicked Shrapnel, and I just got a delivery. It is the new Nexus 6. Let's open this puppy. And here is the packaging. I got a sensor. It's got my freaking phone number right on the front. But there, that's what the packaging looks like without giving out my phone number to the world. 512-537-7770. Alright. And then this box, this is very Apple-esque. Plain white box with the number 6 on it. And speaking of Apple, I know people have asked because I tweeted it out that I had pre-ordered the iPhone 6 Plus, but after waiting for nearly 2 months and it not shipping, I ordered it from AT&T to be fair. I eventually just had to cancel my order because they said there would be more delays. I ordered it on September 22nd and they said it wasn't going to be shipped until like December 15th. So that's ridiculous. So back to this phone. That feels good. It doesn't feel like plastic on the back. It's pretty solid. Let me take this, actually I'll leave that screen protector on for a second. Powered up. But very solid device. It is a large phone. It's a 6-inch screen, 5.96. I think we could round it up to 6. And I have been using the OnePlus One, which is a 5.5-inch phone. Let me take it out of the case to show you how it compares size-wise. Not a huge difference, but the Nexus 6 is definitely bigger. Let me see if I can hold it like this. So the Nexus 6 is slightly larger in footprint. It's a little bit wider, a little bit taller, and a little bit thicker, but not by much. And holding both of them, the Nexus 6 is a little bit heavier too. So let me see if this thing power on. There we go. Google coming up. And the OnePlus One was previously my favorite, and it may still be. I haven't reviewed this one yet, but currently, before I'm using this one, it is my favorite Android device. Some of the differences is the Nexus 6 is running a Quad HD display, whereas the OnePlus One is running a 1080p display. So a little bit higher, well, a lot higher resolution on the Nexus 6. But since it has a bigger screen, the pixel density is like, it's in the high 400s. I wish I had the exact specs. I should have broke them out in front of me. I had read them, but I didn't memorize them. And the other difference is, right now the OnePlus One is running KitKat 4.4.4, whereas the Nexus 6 is one of the first phones to come with Lollipop, Android 5.0. You can quickly copy any Google accounts backed up, apps and data to your existing Android device. Make sure your other device is on and unlocked. Briefly place the two devices back to back. So that's pretty cool. I think you have to have NFC enabled. There we go. To continue, touch OK on your other device. Okay. Copying data to your new device. So that's pretty cool. I believe that's a feature of Lollipop, not necessarily just the Nexus 6. Okay, so I got logged into my accounts and it is restoring my device, downloading all my apps and everything from the Play Store. So that's pretty sweet. All I had to do was touch it to my old Android phone with NFC enabled, and voila, good to go. So that's a pretty easy transition to a new phone. I like that. I did pull up the specs to compare it to the OnePlus One. So the resolution on the Nexus 6 is 2560 by 1440 with an OLED display at 493 pixels per inch. So that's the pixel density on that, whereas the OnePlus One is 1080p with a with an IPS LCD screen with a 401 pixels per inch. And the Nexus 6 is running a Snapdragon 805 processor, quad-core processor at 2.7 gigahertz. And the OnePlus One is running a Snapdragon 801 at quad-core processor at 2.5 gigahertz. Both have 3 gigabytes of RAM. Storage on the OnePlus One that I have 64 gigabytes of storage on this one, and the one that I got from AT&T, I didn't see them offer a different one, but this is 32 gigabyte, I believe. Let me double check just to make sure. Yeah, available is 24 gigs on this one. And on my OnePlus One storage, I had 49 gigabytes available out of the 64 on this one. So total space available was 54.87. Total space available on this one is 25.98. So I don't know that I will actually use all that space. We'll see. I would have preferred to have the 64 gigabyte version just because it was only, if you buy it off contract, it's only like $50 more for the 64 gigabyte version. So 50 bucks for double the amount of storage is worth it in my opinion. And if I would have had the option, I would have got it, but AT&T only had the 32 gigabyte model available at the time when I ordered it. What else? Let's see. Let me compare those specs again. In the main camera, they both have 13 megapixel cameras, although the Nexus 6 has optic image stabilization, which helps you take a steadier shot, and if you're recording video, it'll keep it from being so jumpy. It'll help stabilize the image. So that's a nice feature to have. The front-facing camera on the Nexus 6 is a 2 megapixel camera, whereas it's a 5 megapixel camera on the OnePlus One. So your selfies might be a little bit higher res on the OnePlus One. And battery life, the Nexus 6 has a 3,220 milliamp hour battery, whereas the OnePlus One has a 3,100 milliamp hour battery. And they're both non-removable. So with the Quad HD display, it's going to require a little bit more battery power. So even though it has a bigger battery, they're probably going to be around the same as far as how long the battery lasts, which should be plenty. I've never had any problems with battery life on my OnePlus One. I'll usually end the day at like 50% battery, and I use my phone quite a lot. And for connectivity, they both have 802.11a, b, g, n, and AC, and there is dual band Wi-Fi on the Nexus 6. I don't know too much about dual band, but I'm guessing that it's the megahertz that it is able to connect at. It can connect at multiple bands at the same time. That's what I think when I think of dual band. They both have NFC, Bluetooth 4.1, and micro USB 2.0, and OnePlus One adds Miracast and DLNA as connectivity options, which I've never used and don't know what I would use them for. Some miscellaneous items. The Nexus 6 has dual front-facing speakers, which will give you like stereo sound, whereas there's only one speaker on, or actually there's 2 speaker holes on the OnePlus One, but they're both on the bottom. So you get a little bit better stereo sound quality when there's speakers on both sides of the screen. If you're playing a game, I think it's going to sound better. I'll let you know in a future video. And has a metal frame on the Nexus 6. It does feel solid, good solid device. But it's not that the OnePlus One doesn't feel bad either. But there's definitely some more heft to the Nexus 6. It says that it has water-resistant nano coating. Well, that's pretty cool on the Nexus 6. And Motorola turbocharger. That's another thing that I heard you can get to like 6 hours of battery life in like 15 minutes using the charger that comes with the phone, which is pretty nice sized wall wart. Let's see. Open it up. It says it is a turbo output at 12 volts is 1.2 amps. Turbo 1 output at 9 volts is 1.6 amps. So, turbo charger. And that's pretty cool. So if you have that with you, if you're traveling, you're like in the airport, and you've been watching movies on the first leg of your flight, and you have a little layover, you can get like half your phone charged up in like 15 minutes. So that is pretty sweet. And it also has wireless charging on the Nexus 6. You'll have to get your own wireless plate, but it's built in. Sorry, my camera cut me off mid-sentence, but I was talking about wireless adapters. You won't need to add anything to the Nexus 6 to enable wireless charging. You'll just have to buy the wireless charging plate. And then you just lay your Nexus 6 on it, and it'll charge your phone. So it's not a big deal for me to plug it in with a cable. I haven't reached that pinnacle of laziness that I just need to lay it down, but it is kind of just like a cool feature, I guess. And you will not get the turbo charging wirelessly. You'll have to plug it in and use this turbo charger for that to work. So that's a better feature to me than not having to plug in a cable. And let's see, I also did get a case for the Spigen. Let's see how it feels in the case. So there we go. And it's got a little kickstand on it. The case actually came with a little scuff in it already, so it kind of sucks. But it'll stand it up this way, I think. No, stand it up this way. I thought they were supposed to stand up 2 different ways, but anyway, that'll be nice. If you want to watch a movie or something, built-in kickstand. And the kickstand itself feels like pretty flimsy plastic, but you're not going to be putting a lot of weight on it anyway, so it works for me. And it'll protect the face if you're laying it face down. There's a little lip on it to keep it from sitting on the glass. So that's pretty cool. I've never used a lollipop before, so I look forward to trying that out with the new material design, how things slide above other things. Should be some cool new features that I look forward to trying out. What else? I guess I will come back and tell you more about the phone after I've used it for a while and give you my opinions on it. But this was just kind of a first look unboxing and tell you about things that I know as far as specs go. There is another thing. The performance of the Nexus 6 has been criticized because by default the encryption is enabled on the phone. So let me go to settings and see if encryption is enabled by default. It should be under security. And I don't see it enable. That's right. Yep, encryption. It says encrypt phone, it is encrypted. And the thing is, I think Android is trying to be a little bit more secure, and all of Apple's devices have had built-in encryption, but the difference is Apple encrypts with hardware. So all their encryption is done at the hardware level, whereas this phone is not encrypting at the hardware level, it's encrypting with software, which it's a slower process. Everything has to be processed through the software to lock it down, and it hurts performance is the basic end result. So they had done, and it's not easy to turn off encryption. You can't just go in and say turn off encryption. There's no easy way to do it. There's been some developers have come up with a way to, if you have to root your phone and load the ROM back on it with encryption off, but anytime you do over-the-air updates on the phone, it's going to re-enable that encryption. So it'd be nice if Google would just give you the option to not encrypt your phone if you just want better performance over security. So that's something they might do in the future, but I think they're just trying to be a more secure platform, so they might not do that, and you might have to root your phone and load a custom ROM on it just to disable encryption. And the performance hits are supposed to be pretty significant. I'll play around with the phone, and I might not notice a huge difference since I don't know what it's like without encryption, since it enables encryption right when it starts up the first time. But the benchmarks have shown that encryption can slow the phone down like 2, 3, 4 times as slow as when encryption is off. So the read and write speeds to the disk take a big hit. So I might look into rooting it and disabling encryption, playing around with it and stuff like that. I can make a video to show you how to disable encryption, maybe if that's something you'd be interested in. And that's pretty much all I got for now. It's just a first look at the phone. I guess I can give you a close-up look. Comparison. OnePlus One. They're pretty even in size, and after using a big phone, I don't want to go back to using small devices. I like the phablet, big size devices. Not going back. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will talk to you later. Take it easy.